Hello and welcome to KG Graves, the new one-on-one series where I focus on just one celebrity. Please like, subscribe and hit the bell for more content like this. Thank you to those of you who have already subscribed. This is number 19, J.R.R. Tolkien at Wolvercote Cemetery in Oxford, England. John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was born on the 3rd of January 1892 in Bloemfontein in South Africa. He was a writer, poet and philologist. He was called Ronald by his family, so I will use this name to avoid confusion. When he was 3, he went to England with his mother and brother on what was intended to be a lengthy family visit. His father, however, died in South Africa of rheumatic fever before he could join them. This left the family without an income, so his mother took him to live with her parents in King's Heath, Birmingham. His mother taught the children at home, and by the age of 4 he could read fluently. Sadly, when Ronald was only 12, his mother died of diabetes. Before her death, Mabel Tolkien had assigned the guardianship of her sons to her close friend, Father Francis Xavier Morgan of the Birmingham Oratory. At the age of 16, John met Edith Mary Bratt when he and his brother Hilary moved into a boarding house in Duchess Road, Edgbaston. Ronald and Edith often frequented tea shops, and one had a balcony overlooking the pavement. There they would sit and throw sugar lumps into the hats of passers-by, moving to the next table when the sugar bowl was empty. By 1909 they had fallen in love. His guardian at the time was Father Morgan, who prohibited Ronald from seeing Edith until he was 21. This was due to religious differences, which Ronald obeyed to the letter. By this time, Edith was engaged to be married to George Field. However, on the evening of his 21st birthday, Ronald wrote a letter to Edith and declared that he had never stopped loving her and asked her to marry him. On the 8th of January 1913, he travelled by train to Cheltenham and was met on the platform by Edith. The two took a walk into the countryside, sat under a railway viaduct and talked. By the end of the day, Edith had agreed to accept his proposal. In 1914, at the start of World War I, Ronald shocked his family by refusing to volunteer for service in the British Army as he wanted to finish his degree. After passing his finals in July 1915, he was commissioned as a temporary second lieutenant in the Lancashire Fusiliers. Ronald and Edith got married at St Mary Immaculate Catholic Church in Warwick on the 22nd of March 1916. He was then summoned to go to France on the 5th of June 1916. While waiting to be assigned, he got bored and wrote a poem called The Lonely Isle. He then took part in the Battle of the Somme, but contracted trench fever, a disease carried by lice. He was invalided to England on the 8th of November 1916. As part of his recovery, he wrote the Book of Lost Tales. Throughout 1917 and 1918, his illness kept recurring, but had recovered enough to do some home service at various camps. It was at this time that Edith bore their first child, John Francis Reuel Tolkien, on the 17th of November 1917. On the 16th of July 1919, he was taken off active service but retained his rank of lieutenant. His first civilian job was to work on the Oxford English Dictionary. Ronald and Edith went on to have 3 further children, Michael born in 1920, Christopher in 1924, and Priscilla born in 1929. Ronald was most famously known for his Hobbit books 1936 and Lord of the Rings books, which he completed in 1948, close to a decade after his first sketches were made, but originally published in 1954-1955. In 1961, his friend and author C.S. Lewis nominated him for a Nobel Prize in Literature. In 1968, he sold the film, stage and merchandise rights of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings to United Artists, but they did not produce any films. In 1976, the rights were then sold to Tolkien Enterprises. Various versions were then worked on and most released, but it was the New Line Cinema who released The Lord of the Rings as a trilogy of live-action films from 2001 to 2003, directed by Peter Jackson. From 2012 to 2014, Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema released another trilogy of films based on The Hobbit, with Peter Jackson once again serving as director. Edith died on the 29th of November 1971 at the age of 82. Ronald was awarded a CBE in 1972. He died on the 2nd of September 1973 from a bleeding ulcer and chest infection at the age of 81. Let's see where his grave is located. So there you have it, the grave of J.R.R. Tolkien, writer, poet and philologist. If you have enjoyed watching this video, then please like, subscribe and hit the bell for more content like this. Thank you for watching, see you on the next one.